Let's talk about today. A couple guys want to get some updates on transitioning from summer. Espinal is the first one I want to look at today. We're a week and a half in. Obviously, deloaded him now. Danny, talk to me about how he's feeling. Give me a little update on sort of where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, he feels healthy. He has not reported any issues, injuries, or anything like that. He's pretty much built back up, and he's back at high intensity. I think the arm path has cleaned up a lot. That's obviously been our big focus with him all summer. And, he's even mentioned to me that he's starting to feel comfortable with it. It's not as forced. And obviously we're starting to see some results from it in terms of velocity. So I think he's in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, that peak in velo, what was it, 3 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. I expect coming off his deload as we get build him back, expect to see that maybe and some.
Yeah.
He's got to kind of hone in on his command side of things. So I think the key here is get those workloads built back up, make sure he's feeling great, understanding that arm path still stay consistent there, don't let him get sloppy.
Yeah.
And then hopefully on the backside of this in a couple of weeks, again, hits the field and feels comfortable. Those controlled environments are going to be huge for him in those live AVs. So I'm excited for him on that.
I've been on the mound in a while. Did you feel forced at all? Did you feel like you were...
Felt really good. I could really command it too.
Completely natural. Hand was on time. I mean, you threw strikes.
I feel like every miss was smaller too.
Misses were more competitive. Has a lot to do with the arm path. I think, honestly, like I said...
I didn't think I had any miss over like this much.
Yeah. I thought your arm was on time. I thought the hand was in a good spot at foot plant. And it didn't look forced like it did those first week or two when we started doing it with you. You know what I mean?
The slider was there too.
Now, the biggest test is going to be when you get to high intensity on next week, right? Like, can you translate that to 100%? That's where you're going to be tested a little bit. Good job, attaboy. You've made the adjustment quicker than a lot of people would. Arm path is not something that's easy to clean up. I mean, it usually takes quite a bit of time. And honestly, you've made the adjustment pretty quick, if I'm being honest with you. Oh boy.
I think it's my changeup. That's the only thing I've struggled with.
Well, yeah, and that's, again, like...
Huge arm side missed it.
That's not my top priority right now. Obviously, at some point, it will be a priority, but... Just make sure you still get to that same spot at foot plant, right? Hey, so remember, like, I'm okay with you... Wherever your hand comes out when you separate, that's fine. As long as you get to the right spot at foot plant, that's what we want. Good. Oh boy.
Did you see the sliders moving?
I thought it was moving good.
Because I can't really see the movement when I throw it because I don't know why, but I just thought it was strikes, but I thought it was flat.
Lower intensity, I'm not expecting the shape to be exactly what you would want it to be, and I think you're going to be fine when you're at 100%. You know what I mean?
Let's move over to the next one, Nystrom. I have no idea what he did coming in from this past summer because he wasn't here, obviously. Garrett, what are your notes on Nystrom? And then Danny, I'll let you kind of catch me up on where he's at.
Chase, he's lifted all summer. That's what he told me. We talked about it. And just building into him. He's trying to gain weight as well, trying to get to the 200 mark. And then I'm really going to push him after this first month, after the assessment. I'm going to push him really hard in the weight room this fall. What I did with a couple guys last year in the fall, and then deload him in January right before the season.
So our main goal for him is going to be really to get that weight up, right? And I want to prioritize his physical growth this fall. And then push him in the wintertime a little bit, see if we can get a little more out of him. He's healthy finally, which is huge.
Spring for him, this was the summer, week 1 was 56, 58. By the end of the fall, I really want to see him at that 80 range. So it's going to push him really hard for the next 8. We have about 15, 16 weeks before January. Okay. So being able to push him pretty hard there. So.
Okay, great. So we have a good jump in terms of
we
this
can
strength.
see still at 180, 185, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So we try to get to that 200 mark.
Yeah, that'd be great. Awesome. Okay. I think the big thing, Danny, I don't know where he's at throwing-wise coming off the summer, but let's talk about his workload a little bit. And I know we have that progression that he's on now. Yep. I'd like to maybe better understand where he's been. Like, did you know what he did this summer?
Yeah, so I actually got to see him throw a couple of times this summer in game, and he looked good. I mean, velo was okay, 89, 91 range. I know previously he's been up to 3, so he's not super satisfied with where he was at this summer. But he did pitch, I'd say at least once a week all summer.
Okay.
He had an extended outing as recently as July 27th, and then he kind of shut down for a little bit after that. So leading into our first week on August 5th, we kind of just started to build him up from scratch because he had taken some time off.
Okay.
So he's at a fitness level of 5.98 right now. So he's pretty built up. I mean, I think he's going to be a guy that, he'll be ready to get on the mound at high intensity by middle of next week.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's been good about showing up every day. Workloads are entered every day. So I'm pleased with where he's at in terms of his on ramp.
He's one of those guys I'd prefer him to be slower in his progression than faster.
Yeah.
And so even if that means like pushing his short box back an extra week, like keeping his mound work to be a touch back, he's going to be one of our workhorses, I think, for the springtime especially. So, more focused for him on trying to get extended as we get through the winter here than I am sort of this late mid-fall. Yeah. So, great. I think I'd like to maybe take a look at his workloads today as a whole and talk with him about that workload path so he understands that. He's been kind of a guy that when he feels good, he'll go a little bit. So I'll kind of just keep the expectations set as to kind of when I need him to be ready to go for fall. So I was going through your workload, and I wanted to understand better. So this was your last outing, right? That was like your last big outing at the end of summer, and you shut down during that period. What's this?
Just like long toss.
Okay.
I think I might not put in some of the.
Some of the workloads.
Throwing like after, like I took a couple of days off.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was still throwing like after.
Okay. Cool.
I didn't like shut.
So I want you to add that back in and make sure we get that updated. Just some idea of it. Okay. All right. And then I want you to recognize. Just playing catch. That's fine. All good. I just want to make sure we're accurate there. That's all. We're shutting you down no matter what at this point, right? Like once you got here, we were shutting you down and building you back up. So that doesn't really matter that much to us, right? But I just want to get an idea so we have it for the long term. Here's what I want you to understand. I'm going to build you slower than the rest of the guys for the fall. Just a touch, okay? And it's not like, they're going to be throwing bullpens, you're going to be throwing bullpens. You might be just a little bit more behind them in volume, okay? Reason being is I want to make sure that we progress that intensity a little bit slower with you. We're going to use you a lot in the fall, and we're going to use you a lot in the spring. So I just want you to be prepared for that. I'm going to take my time to build you in that, okay? Just giving you a heads up now, knowing where you were from last year, kind of coming into this year. I just want you to be ready for that. Make sense?
Good.
Cool. That's it.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Keep these first throws 30-40% to the target. Okay, it's a pretty good start. We'll go 50% effort in long toss, and then we'll go 60% effort in catch or in flat ground work.
You guys are ready to throw on the target?
That'd be money.
Last one I want to talk about today, let's talk about Jack Maher. Jack obviously transitioning to A3 from our full-time program. We've worked command with him for a long time. Worked a little bit of mechanical work with him as well in the past. When we go to eval day coming up, one of the things that I really want to focus on is establishing a new drill set with him and then quantifying for him. He's one of those kids that's done a really good job of understanding when you quantify for him the goal. So like whether it be the command metrics or whether it be like from 3 motion, like kind of establishing things like lead leg or like whatever the numbers, he does really good with objective data. So I'd like to challenge him with some sort of long-term scoring for the fall. Garrett, give me a quick breakdown as well where he's at on the strength side. He's been one of our consistent guys for a long time. So.
Leading into A3, obviously being here over the summer, he got up to 106 on the strength score, which is one of the top ones we have. So I'm putting him and a couple other guys through a two lift days a week. Still accumulating a lot of workload under those two, but allowing more time to recover from that Monday, Thursday, and just adding that extra day in with not having to do another big lift on Friday. So hopefully when he first has that pin, we should see a tick in velo, hopefully, just because he has more time to recover from there. And he seems like he's been responding really well to the 2 a days, so, or 2 a weeks lifting.
So you're gonna push him pretty hard in the next calendar month, right? Like what phase are you putting him in? Like, is he's gonna transition outside of everybody's kind of on ramping with our phase right now? I'm assuming, right? For A3.
He's on a two. He's just on the Tuesday.
Okay.
So he's. I'm manipulating the frequency of training, not so much the total load is the frequency,
Okay.
which on the back end of changing from a 3-day to a 2-day, you're increasing the recoverability, which should allow him to recover better and be at a higher state.
I
to be
think
able
he's
to
one of
reduce
those guys that we can, like, quote unquote bury early. Like, I would be okay with him physically getting beat up here over the next couple of weeks, and then pushing him. I need him to. He's got to make a jump. Like, I got to get him. He's like top of 85 ish. Him being 87, 88 from the left side would be a game changer for him, especially if he can command the baseball a little bit, like we've been working on. So I would rather you physically take your shot at him now and beat him up as we're sort of progressing him. And I don't care if it's 2 days or 4 days, whatever you want to do. I just prefer you basically take him and beat him up now, so that when I get him in, let's just say, October,
Yeah.
we start pushing a little bit. He's going to be kind of some fall games and whatnot, but he might be the guy that we try to push a little bit.
Okay.
He's a velocity phase candidate in the wintertime for sure.
Yeah.
So we just got to have him built up enough to handle it. Then Garrett, if you want to have that conversation or you want to think over the next couple days about what you want to do from a physical standpoint, again, he's a guy I think you can kind of put him in a physically challenging space over the next, let's say, month.
First things first, we talked about going down to the 2 a days, 2 a weeks. How you been feeling with that? Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Okay, cool. I think that added recovery time is going to be really, really good.
Okay.
Casey and I, we all talked and stuff. What we're going to do with you from a lifting standpoint is we're really going to push for the next about 6 weeks leading into October, and then they're probably going to put you into a velo phase there, and then we'll regress. So what I want to show you is, so this is week 3, so you're at 88, 78, and we see this gray line, that's the projected. What I want to do for the next 6, you see that to 92, 96, 99, 101, 103, 106, being able to push really hard. So what that looks like from an actual training day standpoint is we're going to manipulate one exercise. We're going to go the trap bar deadlift. And we're going to, so next week, you went from 385 this week. We're going to go all 400s for week 4. Week 5, 425, 440 for week 6, 450, 460, and then in that 9 weeks, that 470. And that should put you into October. But we're going to push really, really hard in the weight room from that standpoint. And then being able to deload you a little and regress that back to that line that we need you on, so you can go throw. Okay, and then when you're in the velo phase, you should be feeling really, really good.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on this or what from a training standpoint?
No.
Awesome, perfect.
Okay, so we'll do same drill work we've been doing, right? Focus on that lead leg getting extended out, right? Hold that pelvis closed all the way down the mound. Honestly, you've done a really good job of that, right? Like, you've been locked in on drill work, feel like you're starting to make the changes that you want to make today, right? Like, I'm going to let you go through the drill work, but that's not really the main focus today, right? Today, the main focus is going to be commanding the breaking ball to the zone, right? I think, obviously, we've been doing a lot of command work over the last couple of months, right? You've seen a little bit of a jump in velo. We need probably one more jump to really get you where you want to be, right?
Right.
But as of right now, especially on these low intensity days, right? Like we're not trying to let it eat. I want you to really lock in on that 6 to 8 portion, right? I'll even let you stop, your long toss at a 5 if you want.
Okay.
That way we can get more throws to the zone today, right? Like that's the best way we're going to work on command. Volume of throws to a specific target, right?
Right.
I'm going to take that small zone out. We're going to put the big one in, and we're going to work breaking ball to the middle of the zone, and we're going to work breaking ball to the blue ball, right?
Right.
So you kind of have an idea of where you need to start your breaking ball, right? And the first step is, right, consistent shape, right? Consistent shape. Know where you need to start it when you want it for a strike. Know where you want to start it when you need it for an out pitch, right?
Right.
And so that's going to be the main focus. I think the fastball command has gotten better. Would you agree? I mean, I would say like your misses are smaller. You're around the zone with it. The breaking ball is where there's some inconsistencies right now, right? So I'm going to let you, I'm not going to really like dive in with you on drill work right now. Go through your 10 reps, nice and light. Just get the feel that you know you're already looking for. And then we'll go straight into catch play. All right? Good. How many throws is that? 8. Just go 10 to the target. We'll start long toss early.
I'll cut that part out.
Sorry. Just fidgeting with something. Let me know what that gets you to. Because that was your first 10, right?
Right.
2-8. You added your 20 at plyos? Okay. All right, yeah. Let's go ahead and start long toss now. Start like 40% effort for your long toss right here. Go about 15. Go about 15 to the zone, okay? Full delivery. I want you to start with about 4 or 5 fastballs. Not trying to hit corners right now. Just go middle to start. Make sure you're in that zone, right? In that little square. Big zone's not enough, right? Hit the middle of the plate. Fine. Where are you going to try to miss on this next one?
Down low.
Yeah, miss below the zone for me. Good adjustment. Good, blue ball down and away. Blue ball down and away on this one. Good. See, I wanted you to actually hit that spot. But I give you blue ball down and away, missing a little bit glove side. Sure enough, you go middle. It's beautiful. It's actually what I wanted. Again, go like two more fastballs and we'll start spinning them. Oh boy, good. Now you're in there. Finish with that. Or finish with one more of those. Good. Now we're filling it up. Breaking ball off of that. Hey, so remember we talked about the first breaking ball that you throw. If you miss, where do you want to miss? Down and glove side, right? Like I don't want you to cast this first one and leave it up in arm side. If you miss on that blue ball. And then if it does miss there, we can work back up to the zone from there.
Okay.
Excellent. So let's see if we can repeat that, right?
Right.
You feel good about where that pitch started and where it landed?
Pretty good.
I feel good about it. See if you can repeat that. Don't change anything. Excellent. It's a small miss. I mean, dude, that's in the zone still. That's great. Let's end the breaking balls there. Let's go fastball middle, call it a day. We'll work change-ups on another day. See ya! Add 'em in. Great job.
Let's go, Jack. $190. Hey, eyes, Angels. Stay tall, elbows forward, hips through, hips through. Hips hard, RDL. Does that make sense? Huh?
Makes sense.
Yeah, so like when you come out of the bottom of the hole, it's like a lunge where you're coming up. And then once you start slowing down, it's hips through.
Okay.
So it should be a transition period where you're pushing through the quad and then the hips come through. Okay? Good. Do it again. Good. One more, Jack. Good. Rotate that leg all the way through, Jack. Kick that leg through. Rotating all the way through. Come on. There we go. Good.